show the green card. And when the speaker
Five then. 4
5
on this
minutes,
page.
yes.
Okay.
And when the speaker reaches 6 minutes, I'll show the yellow card.
Okay.
And when the speaker reaches 7 minutes, I'll show the red card. The speaker then has 30 seconds to complete the speech, at which I'll show the stop now card.
Okay.
Thank you. And now here are Rob's comments about hate and violence. When I think of hate, I contemplate, what is the person hating? Are they feeling fear, aggression? Are they needing control? Are they needing safety and order? I ask myself, how can I relate to this person, human to human?
Thank you, Aileen. Hello again, everyone. In 1990, I read an amazing book. It's called Diet for a New America. And while we're talking about maybe a new spiritual diet for our country and our world, I'd like to introduce to you something that's increasingly important to me, which is physical diet. And why physical diet is so important. The reason to me, I think, is going to be the same as it is for you. Without health and vitality and vibrancy, how do we bring love and change into the world? Without your mom being healthy and vibrant and alive, how could she get on that plane and start a new life? Without physical strength and mental clarity, how could we, as Lexington Toastmasters, even gather together? So this exploration has been going on with me since 1990 when I read Diet for a New America by John Robbins. I don't know if you remember, there's a very famous ice cream company that has the 31 next to it. What's the name of that company? Baskin and Robbins. And who was John? John was the son of Mr. Robbins, who produced so much dairy that he did incredible damage to our population. And our population globally is largely unaware of the effects of meat and dairy. John was so inspired by the science that he undertook to show the relationship between what we eat and our physical health, and what we eat and how it affects the entire global environment for our babies, our children, our grandchildren. When his father confronted him, he said, if you publish that book, the $50 million inheritance that I'm planning for you will be zero. John Robbins was a very brave man. He walked away from $50 million and inspired millions of people. The book was nominated for a Pulitzer Prize, and here I am, some 28 years later, still learning. My current teacher is Dr. Greger from nutritionfacts.org. So I'd like you to write this down on a piece of paper. Nutrition facts.org. And there's two reasons why I want you to write this down. The first is Dr. Greger has done all of the work. I'm just the reporter. I'm just this guy that's hopefully informing and giving you something. So if afterwards you say, I don't know if that's true, I don't know if what Rob said is really science, I want you to go to the website and you will see hundreds and thousands of scientific citations. Dr. Greger only reports on science. He doesn't take money from the meat and dairy industry or the pharmaceutical companies. Unfortunately, very smart people in this room, including myself, have been bathed in an environment. Remember when we were kids, some of the people in their 50s and 60s and 70s? Remember the four square? Eat meat and dairy and fruits and vegetables and grains every day. Do you know where that curriculum came from? come from science, it came from the meat and dairy industry. So what we're up against, ladies and gentlemen, is the very hard work of actually learning science. And I am not a scientist. I'm just this guy that gets inspired. And I've had to change my own diet and my own health for some of the difficulties I've started to accumulate after eating improperly up until 1990. And I've made incremental changes. So what are those changes? What can you do to improve your health? Stop eating meat, stop eating animal products, stop eating eggs, stop eating dairy. But what about the protein? What about the protein? There is plenty of protein in rice, beans. The fruits and vegetables do what? They give you fiber. Almost every American is deficient in fiber, and almost every American has incorrect levels of what they think are normal cholesterol. Here's the thing about normal, and I'm looking at Dinesh, a scientist, and maybe he'll back me up on this. Do you want to be normal in a society where 75% of the people who dropped dead of a heart attack had the normal ratings of what their doctor said was safe? So here's a fact you can write down. Science is showing the 200 level, has everybody heard of that? Cholesterol? What are your total cholesterol? 200, right? That's what no! That's the average kind of good sort of American diet. And we don't want to tell people that science says the optimal rate is 150. Well, we're not going to tell people what the optimal rate is because it's too hard. It's too hard. Well, we're here to say, if you know the science and continue to eat cheeseburgers, that's fine. I'm not here to proselytize. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I have the occasional junk food myself. NutritionFacts.org will illuminate and enlighten you. One egg. One egg. If a woman eats an egg every day, it's the equivalent of smoking 5 cigarettes a day for 15 years. What happens inside your body, go to Nutrition Facts. I know, right? It's impossible to believe this stuff. I didn't believe it myself until I cross-referenced. And I started paying attention to scientists rather than Madison Avenue. So what is one thing you can do? One thing you can do is go to nutritionfacts.org. Don't take my word for it. Cross-examine. What's number 2 thing you can do? Just cut down on meat and dairy and chicken and fish. Fish? I thought fish was... Well, does everybody remember last week? Who did we hear from? Our very own Al Davis, who taught us about fish. The red card means stop eating animal products.
Is that a red flag?